Alrighty, good morning one and all. It is time to record another mini lecture, so let's begin. Okay, today we're going to be looking at the third topic of paragraph writing for our course. Today we will investigate writing compare and contrast paragraphs. So essentially what you're doing here is you are finding and talking about similarities and differences. Okay, so obviously whenever we do this, the very first thing you need to do is you need to look at whatever your topic is. And today, obviously, I'm going to provide you with a writing task that will have some topics attached to it. And then you need to brainstorm the similarities and the differences. So you have to think before you write. This makes sense. It's never a good idea to jump straight into the drafting. You need to do your planning before you draft. So there are three methods that I promote as good methods for organizing and kind of setting down your ideas for this type of paragraph. That's mind maps, T-charts, and just straight up lists. So a mind map is where you put the topic in the middle in a bubble, and then you have little lines and little bubbles going off and expanding up into a map. This is often a very good first step for brainstorming because it gives you a chance to just kind of in an open and free environment, just get your ideas down on the page. Then afterwards, you can organize them into categories or lists. Another way that works, and you can almost kind of use these ways together, is to a T-chart. And what a T-chart is you just, you put your topic up at the front, the very top of your page, sorry, and then you're going to draw a line down the middle and a line across. And then on one side you put similarities, on the other side you put differences, and they go on the either side of that central line that you're talking about. So in a minute, I'm going to do, after I finish this little lecture about kind of the ideas behind compare and contrast paragraphs, I'll actually demonstrate one of them in one of my demonstration videos. So I will show you what I mean by using a T-chart because I'm going to use that as my method in my example. Okay, so once you've got all of your brainstorming ideas down on the page, once you've kind of gathered and thought about the similarities and differences, now it's time to stop and to organize your ideas into some sort of an order, and it should be logical, of course. So we call this outlining. Now, in any set paragraph, we already know that you need a topic sentence. Now, also, it can be a powerful strategy for your topic sentence to be written as what we call a hook. So what a hook sentence is it's a sentence that is intentionally trying to excite some interest in your reading. So it should kind of be some sort of snappy phrasing or snappy writing, something that's kind of maybe even a little bit controversial. And if you put that into your topic sentence or hook sentence, it's going to encourage the reader to get to the next sentence, right? So it's kind of where the idea of hooking your fish or hooking your audience, so pulling them in, right? So you can actually write a bit of an outline too, where you kind of think to yourself, okay, what's my topic sentence going to be? You can put the general thought. You don't have to write the good draft yet. And then you can think, okay, so now I know all of my ideas. I know all of my similarities and differences. And it's also a good idea to look at which is stronger. So is the side of similarity stronger or is the side of differences stronger? Because what you should do is you should leave your stronger idea to the end of your paragraph. You want to start strong and you want to finish strong. So starting strong, that's having your hook sentence. Now finishing strong, that means using the idea that has more credibility to it or more kind of evidence behind it. So when we do our outline, we should think about this as well. So you've got our hook sentence, then we think, okay, well, in this case, I'm going to compare chocolate and cheese. My argument towards the differences between the two. There's far more differences than there are similarities. So I'm going to leave the differences till the end. So I'm going to talk about the similarities first. So then in your outline, you write down the 2 or 3 similarities you want to focus on. Then you write down the 3 or 4 differences you want to focus on. And then boom, you've got your outline. So you're ready to do your drafting. But before you do your drafting, we need to take a moment to remember our cues. So always when we're writing paragraphs, we want to use powerful transitional cues to guide the reader and to explain the relationship between the ideas that we're talking about. And we'll look at some comparison and contrast cues on the next slide. So here we go. So that didn't really work out the way I planned it, but anyways, here we go. Here are the comparison and contrast cues, similarity cues. Similarly, comma, moreover, comma, additionally, comma, in addition, comma, another point is, and then you state the point, and on the same token. So there we've got 6 cues that indicate I'm going to state something that is the same. On the other hand, over here, we've got the contrasting cues. So on the other hand, comma, contrarily, comma, in contrast, comma, conversely, comma, to contrast this, comma, or opposingly. So again, 6 cues that we use to talk about points of difference. So one thing you'll notice is the cue comes at the beginning of the sentence, and then we have a comma. That's true for all of these except for this 5th one here on the similarity side. So make a note of these in your notebook, put them on a sticky tab. When you start your writing, put that sticky tab on your notebook so you've got your cues right there in front of you. Try to use a nice spicing of these cues. Don't just use the same one over and over again. That becomes repetitive. Okay, so here we go. Now that you've got your ideas, you've done your brainstorming, you've done your outline, you've gathered your cues, now it's time to write your first draft. So, topic sentence must state your purpose. So you should talk about what it is you're intending to do. And obviously that's going to be to find similarities and differences based on your core topic. Now, one thing I've noticed in your paragraph so far is that some students are still not indenting the first sentence. Your topic sentence should always be indented. That's very simple to do when you're working in Word. Just hit the Tab key once. Tab key is found usually on the left-hand side of the keyboard above the Shift and Space Lock key. So then I've mentioned this already, when you're considering your comparison and contrast, save the stronger side of your ideas, or the stronger side of your argument, if you want to call it that, to the end. Start strong with a strong topic paragraph, end strong with a stronger side of the argument. Very good. Now also we're going to try to use our cues strategically, and finally, after you're done your drafting, give it soak time, do your editing. But then once you've done your editing and rewriting, then you can submit your paragraph. Okay, so today's writing task will be to write our 3rd paragraph. You're going to write a comparison and contrast paragraph between 200 and 400 words. And here are the possible topics: chocolate versus cheese, Toronto versus Vancouver, BC versus Alberta, spring versus fall, Canada versus the USA, mountains versus beaches, Nanaimo River versus Departure Bay, or apartment living versus house living. So nothing too heavy or weighty. It's just a practice. Okay, so I'm going to exit this. Boom, that's our mini lecture, the first one for today. In a moment, I'll be doing my example.